All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to your Daily Brew Part 3. Today, we are looking at a deck that when I started playing it, I think this was my first true brew. It actually went on a ridiculous winning spree. Took me to top 100 from something like 400 in one night. I just won a shitload. Um, I played it on ladder today a little bit so far. Didn't win a lot. It's very okay. Let's talk about the deck a little bit first, and then I'll explain what I'm saying. So, this is a late game kind of Vault of Praxis Torrent of Spiders control deck. It's not really even control. It's just you're looking to have inevitability, and the way you get that is Torrent of Spiders and Vault of the Praxis. Then we're playing a package of Excavate and Sporefolk to search for these cards. It's kind of building your own really bad demonic tutor. And Excavate also lets you recycle Torrent many times. Then we're playing Scene and Obelisk, obviously, so it's not uncommon to end up with 9/9 spiders. And then sooner or later, your opponent's just not going to be able to beat the onslaught of spiders coming their way, and you're just going to kill them. And the rest of the deck is just stuff intended to further that game plan. So, starting out with free Excavate, this is a bad card. I'm not gonna lie, it's terrible, absolutely awful. But with Vault of the Praxis, you can take away a lot of the bad parts because you get to draw cards. So you can go 0 on the interaction, and if you get to find one of your important cards, usually Torrent of Spiders, it's also a lot of the time it's so important to find Vault that a lot of the time if you hit Vault with Sporefolk, you'll just Excavate Vault in order to just put it into play. But it's kind of build your own tutor, and then in the late game it's just Torrent number 5, 6, and 7. Initiate of the Sands is the speed consideration. Lets us develop faster. This deck is pretty mana hungry, but the spells are cheap, so a lot of the time you can always find a way to use all of the mana each turn, which is nice. Makes the Initiate a lot better. When you play Initiate in normal decks, a lot of the time you'll end up spending 4 out of your 5 mana or whatever, so it doesn't really do anything. But in this deck, since you're always playing a combination of spells, the Initiate gets a lot better. For Devour, just a velocity consideration. We want to draw cards so we can find the cards we need faster, and Devour lets us do that. It's also a good combination with Ephemeral Wisp because you don't have to sacrifice anything. The best part about this deck, what makes it so good, is the fact that all of the creatures are completely replaceable. If you have to Shump block 15 turns in a row, you do not give. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. Because everything is replaceable. Eventually you're just going to win with spiders. You don't care if everything dies, which means that just blocking, devouring is not a big deal. And Wisp, obviously, the most the most powerful version of that because it comes back. Lets us trigger Vault pretty easily. You can Shump with it, just play one creature, trigger Wisp. That's sweet. For Sporefolk, as I talked about, it's a good card with Ephemeral Wisp. Lets us put cards in the graveyard for Torrent. I've tried this list without Sporefolk because the card looks awful. Looks absolutely terrible, once again. But whenever I play without it, I miss it a lot. I think that this really needs this card to function the way it's supposed to. But I guess, what you could do, you could cut Sporefolk, go down a couple of Excavates, and play a lot more interaction, and maybe that would be better in certain metagames. I can also see a point for maybe trying to play the Displacer, because that's also a way to trigger Vault, and it's good with a lot of the cards in the deck, like bouncing your own creature or whatnot. But let's try Sporefolk today at least. As I said, I played quite a lot with this deck, and whenever I cut Sporefolk, I'm just not happy. Favored, finds you time sigils. Maybe there should be 4. I ended up on 3 now. I think you can cut the first one pretty safely. Temple Scribe, really good in the deck, replaces itself. Yeah, not much to say. Amber Acolyte, also a good card, does the same thing. That's supposed to be 7-3. Then we have 2 Scorpion Wasps. This deck is pretty weak to flyers sometimes. There's not a lot of ways to take care of flyers. And this card lets us do that more effectively. Plus it's good because it's a creature, so it kind of powers up Torrent of Spiders a little bit. 4 Torrents, kind of the linchpin of the deck, wouldn't work without them. This with Vault is one of the most like strong inevitability plays in the game, because you essentially only need to spend 1 card to have a full board presence. And we have more excavates than you're allowed to play harsh rules in your deck. So most of the time it's just gonna get there. I don't think I've ever seen someone go over the top of this deck without just burning it out. Then we have 4 Marison's Disciple. Good card with Vault, obviously. And kind of lets you trade a little bit. 2 bodies are decent. There's certainly, like, I would want to play 4 Sandstorm Titan, but I don't know what to cut for it. So I'm at 2 right now. This is good versus flyers, but it's also kind of risky. Most decks that win in the air have a lot of ways to deal with this card, but it's also like fairly strong. Yeah, like with all other decks, there's not much to say about Sandstorm. He is who he is. Vault of Praxis, the other linchpin. This card is what you always want. Play it early. It's okay to take a little bit of damage just to get this going, because eventually, like once you have this going, you can shump block to your heart's content. Foreseen an Obelisk. We wouldn't be able to win with just spiders. You need to make them bigger too, and the deck plays a lot of stupid small creatures, so it might be like the best Seen an Obelisk deck there is actually. It's just so powerful in this deck. And then we have 1 Striking Snake formation that we can kind of mill for and then excavate up, and it lets us kind of clear. A way to win faster with Torrent, and also it's just turn 8 Torrent plus striking usually like clears the opponent's board, and from there you're in a very good shape. Mana is very good. I don't think I've ever had mana issues with this deck. We're also playing free Amber Monument, because why not? You usually have a lot of mana on your hands, so you might as well. Not much else to say about it. I've been thinking about trying the... Actually, that might be good. Let's just for fun. I didn't even think about this. But actually, with all of those... So what I'm thinking is, in this deck, with all of the obelisks, and like we don't really have an interest in attacking, so it might actually be better to play Amethyst Monument in the same slot, because we can gain life. And then just mana.